Hi everyone, welcome to the new video. In this video, we are going to implement login and register, or you can say auth, using the local storage. So here we are not going to call any backend, or it will be a simple application where we will understand how we can store data in the local storage, retrieve, check the existing users, and redirect to the home page. So this is how it will be going to look. Here we have register page and login page. So first we will need to register. So let me create one member, Mike, and email address mike@gmail.com, and password 12345 anything. So let's register. Upon registering, you can see user register, jump to login page, and here is the login page. Also, we have cleared the form as well. So let's jump to the login page. Now try logging the mike@gmail.com and password 12345. Let's log in. So here we can see we have get the message, welcome Mike. Mike is the name of the registered user. And once you do like open the URL in new tab also, you will be able to jump to the homepage directly, right? And from here you can do log out also. So now user is not registered, and if you try to jump to the home page directly, so you will not be able to jump to the home page because no one is logged in, right? So this is how it will work. And there are a few more things, like if you don't add anything, it will show message like fill the form, or if there is no user, right? So it will say username or password is incorrect. On registering user, if you think like try to register user with the same email address which is already registered, it will throw message like can't register user already exists. So these are a few of the things, minor things, which we can gradually add. So this is going to be very interesting series for the freshers or who is trying their hands in the React. It will give a lot of knowledge how we can work with routers. Here we are using the routers, React Router DOM, multiple components, how we can store data in the local storage, how we can retrieve it, and how we can play with it. So it will be a fun application. So just uh, be with the project and let's get started. Here I have created a React project with Vite. If you jump to the package.json, you will get to know I have created with Vite, and I'm using 18.3.1 version. If you are not aware about how to create a React project with Vite, just Google it, Vite command or Vite command to create React, and go to the vite.vitejs.dev, and here you will find this command npm create Vite at the latest. So you will get multiple options which product check to create like React or Angular or JavaScript, whatever. Just create with it, and select a TypeScript also, because I always prefer TypeScript. That's right. So let's run this project. Npm run dev. It will use this run this command, dev command, and our project is running on 5173 port 5173, this one here. So this is what a basic template provided by Vite to us. We will need to remove all of the things, like in from app.css, remove all the things. From app.tsx also remove all the things. Index.css. Okay, now let's search login and register HTML page. Here we will get multiple options, so we have to jump to the free front end, right? So let's come here. It have a lot of pages. Whatever I have shown in the demo, we will use that, not this. Yeah, this one. So just go demo and code. Here we have this CSS in the style. Let's copy all the things from inside the style tag, right? So copy this one till the style tag end. So here it ends. So we have to copy all of these things and just paste in index.css right here. Okay. Now in same way we have to copy the here the code from body. But before that, let's, because we have to put that inside login or register, so just create one folder inside src, name it component, and inside component create a login component, login dot tsx because I am using tsx, a typescript. So let's create this component, login here, arrow function, and export default login. Okay, and return here this html whatever I have copied from this. Okay, let's copy this one. Okay, yeah, and add a react fragment, and that's all. In react we don't have class, so just copy it and control h to replace this class with class name. This is what in react we use, class name. If you see here for input we don't have the closing tag, so use that, close the input tag, and we can remove the for now as it is showing the error. And let's save it. I have installed prettier, that's why it is getting formatted by default automatically. So we have login component ready. Now let's come to the app.tsx. Here we can use call this login component, login. Okay, and this login component is automatically imported. We don't need this user state, and we can remove the unused imports also. Okay, that's great. Now let's see how it is looking now. Okay, so now we can see we have a login page here available for us. In same way, let's create a register component also, register.tsx, const register. It will be a arrow function, and let's export this, export default register. Okay, we can copy same thing inside the return or this return block and paste in the here in register. So we will have the same UI. Basically we can just do some basic modification, like in register, like here it will be a register form, username, password is okay. We will need one more field, that is name, okay, and id will also be a name, and this button name will be register. Okay, we will not need this social media, or what we say Google and Facebook, so just add here h3 or h4 tag for now, and we can just have like a login button in this way. I'm just copying it. Same way we need to write in the login page as well, login component. So here I am just using register. Okay, fine. Now come here and we can have like a register at this place. Okay, I think it is good. So next step we can do, so as of now we what we have done, we have just created a basic login and register page. Now let's add react router dom, search react router dom, and we can go to the documentation. Here we can search install something like that. And yeah, this is what npm command we can use to install React Router DOM. Now go to the view and open, I think, or in terminal, new terminal, or you can also open by control and that tilde icon. Let's paste that command, so it will install the React Router DOM, which we can see in the package.json. Okay, whatever packages we install, we can see at in the package.json. So you can see the version 624. Now jump to the app.tsx. If you are not familiar with React Router DOM, just follow the process how they have used. So we are using React Router v6. So we need to use browser router. So let's add that browser router and also close that with browser router. It is showing like we need to import. So let's click on control dot to auto import this one. Okay, it browser has no corresponding closing tag. Okay, so my mistake. Closing tag should be at starting. And inside that, if you come down here, you will see we can add the routes in this way. Like we have to use routes, and inside that route, for route we have to define the path, like how the URL will be. So here the URL is like main upgrading reach, right? So in this way we have to give the path, and on that path which element to call, that is how we have to write. So let's do that. First routes, okay, and inside route we have to use route. For route we have to use path. For login we will use login, and element we need to pass, that is login element, login. Okay, that now we can remove this login from this place. Just copy paste it. Instead of register login, type register, and instead of login, write register element, and it is auto import. Now if you jump to the browser and at this place, now you can see the blank page because we don't have any uh, path with a slash or a home page, right? So just to check, we can type here login. So we have login page, and if you type here register, this is what register. Okay, so register UI is not looking good. Let's jump to the uh, CSS where we added that inside app.tsx. Okay, not here. I think, yeah, in index.cs. So if you come in the form, we have set height to the 520 pixel. We can just remove it. Okay, now it is looking good. So we have done with the basic things. Now what we have to do, on register we have to take the input field like name, username and password. That is first thing we will do, and after that, on clicking the register, we will save this records in the local storage. Let's do that. Let me close all of these things in register. So before that, we know what things we need: name, username and password. So let's create one interface. As we are using TypeScript, so go with the flow. Let's create a user model, and this model will have name field which will be of type string, then username, that is also string, and it will have one more field, that is password, and this is also going to be a string. Now let's create user state which will hold the all the data from these fields. So let's create that const. I am getting that in data and giving a function name as set data, and let's use state, and it is imported from the React. Let's tell that what type of data this could be, right? So in user state we can define a user model as, so if you hover on the data, you will see user is declared at value as never read. Okay, so here we can add Yeah, as we haven't used it, that's why we are getting this. But we can pass the default data what it can be. So name by default it will be empty, then username by default it will be empty, and password also by default empty string. Now we can pass a value to this name field like data dot name, right? And on adding any value like on change, so whatever value we will type in the name field in this text box, we will get on change and event, right? So let's handle this. Name it handle input change, and let's create this function. So let's create const handle input change. For now, just create arrow function. So this we will get here event. To know what type of this will be, if you hover on change, you will see we have to use react dot change event, and inside that it will be specifically a input element. So suppose if there is other fields like a text box, right? That in that case, this HTML input element will be changed to HTML text box element, something kind of that. Let's use here type like react dot change event, and particularly in this HTML input element, right? So let's take from here. If you see, we are getting the ID. We can use this, we can create this function as a generic function. So on the basis of this ID, we can update a name field or username field or password. So let's take the ID first. So in the event, we will get a target, which will particularly point to the this field or uh, username field or the password field. And from this target, we can get ID. In same way, we can get the value as well. Whatever user have put inside that text box input field, we can get that value by target dot value. Now we have to set this value either to the name or username or password, depends on the ID, right? So let's use that, call the set data method, and here in set data, so suppose if user type to the name field, we have to keep existing data for the username and password. So for in that case, we can use in this way data. We will use existing or clone the existing data as it is, and upon that we will update only ID field whatever it comes. So suppose ID is a name, it will update name, and suppose ID is username, it will update username, and suppose it is password, it will update password. So this is how it basically works. Now, okay, so we have to add these two things to the username. Instead of name, it is username, and same way we have to pass to the password also, password. Okay, that's all. I think we are good with this as of now. Now, on clicking the register button, we want one trigger. So on submitting this form, let's write here on submit and handle this handle form submit, right? And let's create this function also, const handle form submit, right? Here also we will get event, and as you know what how to check its type, let's hover on the on submit. You will see react.form event, and it is of type HTML form element. So let's use that react.form event, inside that HTML form element. So form have its default behavior like redirecting or other things, so we have to stop all that existing behavior of the form. For that, I have wrote event.prevent default. And after that, what we can do is we can check whether the data dot name, if it is empty, right, or data dot username is empty. Let's add here or sign, or password is empty, right? So data dot password is empty. We don't have to proceed, we have to show the message. So just doing all of that, we don't have to proceed. So I just wrote here return, and we have to show the message here, right, just below the register. For that, what we can do, we can create one more state. Let's name it message, and function to set that message is set message. Let's use state. It will be of type string, and by default it will be empty. So let's set this message, set message, or you can use the alert as well, no problem. Please fill the form, right? If it is okay, then good. Now we have to check if email ID already exists. Okay, if it is not exist, then we will proceed, and after that save the user in local storage, right? So to check this user is already exist or not, we will have we will need to store that. Let's create one file inside the src and name it local storage ts. Here we will keep all the things related to local storage. I am creating one key, registered users, right? Register users, and here key name is register. What is the spelling? Registered users, right? I think there is some registered. Okay, we have added extra e. Now what functions we will need? First thing, set add new user, right? Here we will get user that we are going to add, and we will need a type at this place. So better to remove this interface from this place and add in the local storage. And let's export this one, export. Okay, so we can use this at this place also, right? But in register we are getting this error, so just we need to import that by control dot. We can import it. Okay, fine. So we are getting a user which is of type iUser model. So how we can do? From local storage, first take all the items with key register users, right? And if there is no such key found, what we can do, we can like have a what kind of data it can be by default, right? So by this way our application will not break. And take this in the one variable users string, because local storage keep this data in a string format. So I have taken this in a string. Now we need to parse this one. Okay, how to do that? In JSON dot parse. So we have to that parse this data as type iUser model and array, because this key basically will be array of iUser model. It will have multiple users, right? If we have registered 10 users, so it will have 10 users. So it is basically an array. So we are going to pass this user string in user array. So let's take that users in the users, right? Now we have to like we have to add this one. So users dot push, right? This new user, and okay, we have pushed that. I believe it will just update the existing one, or better we can take updated users. Now last step, local storage dot set atom, right? This will be the same key we will have to use, and we have to like stringify the updated users or these users. So users, so we don't need this thing. It will automatically update the users, right? So this is how we can add the new user. First we have taken all the users, then we have parsed it, we have added the new user inside it, and uh, we have said that. Now we need to export this new method. So export add new user. We can also have one function like is user exist, right? Or is user already registered or already registered, right? So here we can take username, which will be of type string. So same way we can do, like in same way we can take the users data here. Okay, so here we will get users. In users we can check users dot like a find. In find we can check user dot username and this username. Let's take this inside the variable find user or found user, we can say. If this user, or one thing, don't use empty, just use null. And if user string equals to null, just return false, because there is no record. And we can mention here return type as boolean, right? And if users are there and found user, okay, just return. If found user not equals to null, it means we have found the user, so it will return true, otherwise it will return false. So let's add this function inside this place. Now we are good. Inside register, now we can use we can check like is user already registered. Just update these spellings, because I know this is wrong spelling. I am not that, sometimes I have to recheck the spellings. Okay, and we can pass here data dot username. Let's import this one from local storage, and if it is true, it means user is already there. So we can set a message like user already exist, and return. Okay, we got it. And after all of these conditions, we can like set what is the function name to add. Okay, add new user, and at this place we can pass the data, so it will add. Let's import this add new user. Okay, upon adding the new user, we can do like we can reset this set data, right? So set data, we can reset it. To reset it, just pass this, or better, you can, what you can do is you can take this data in one variable and just use it. Okay, so we have reset it. It is giving one error at this place, so I have removed that. Okay, so I have reset it. Now one remaining thing is we need to show the message, whatever message we have added there, we can show this. So suppose if there is a message, right, and we can show that message like this way. Whatever JavaScript variable we have to use in the HTML, we add that in a curly braces. Okay, okay, so message will show, but here is one issue, let me tell you. Suppose please fill the form, because we have not filled, and some like email @gmail.com. Again it will show please fill the form, but whenever I'm typing here, it is not resetting this message. That is not correct. So on input change, what we can set, do set message, and we can pass empty. So like if you try to type here, it have removed that message. I think sagar@gmail.com is already present, so let's do that. And okay, I think on let's check in the local storage first. Okay, here in applications, if you come in local storage, here we have a Sagar. First time it is created, right? That's why we haven't get that message. So let's try it one more time. So see here, user exists, already exists. We got this message. So that's how it is not get created. Now what we can do, okay, we have missed one message. Like on adding this new user, we can set one more message, that is user created, click on login. Okay, that is sufficient message, no problem. And if I write here sagar 2, okay, user created, click on login. So we are done with the login page as of now. Next part we can do is we can work on the login page. Okay, so here login is just it's not a link, so we can make it a link. How we can do that? So if you come here, we have a link one from the React Router DOM that we can use. Here we can say this will be a login button, and we can pass here, I think 2, yeah, 2, and here we can pass login, kind of like this. Okay, now this is looking like a link. So if you click on this, we are redirected to the login page, and same way we can do the in the for the register also. Okay, I think we are good with the register page. Now let's jump to the login page. Okay, first we will replace this with the link from React Router DOM. Okay, and right here register, and let's pass here what path to be changed. So we have added register. So in same way, like we created one interface, that then after that we created a state, and then we created one handle input change something, then handle form submit. All of these things we are going to use right in the login. Before that, let's create interface I login model, and okay, it will have only username and password. Okay, now let's create one state. name it set and data and set data, use a hook, use a state, mention here type, I login model, and pass a default data. By default we will make it empty, password will also be empty, right? So that's all. Now we will need this method, handle input change. Okay, handle input change. Okay, let's copy it. I think we don't have set message yet, so no problem, I just removed that. And in same way in register what we did, we have this value and on change, right? So let's copy this one, add for username and password. Instead of name, let's use username, and for password let's type here password. Okay, that's all. Now we need to work for the form submit. On submit, handle form submit. Okay, so we already have created in the register, so this portion we will need. Let me copy it and close this. Okay, so we are good. What we can do, we can do the check whether data have username equals to empty, or data have password or not. If they don't have these things, we can either show a message like whatever we have shown in the register, or we can show the alert as well, up to you, because you know it. I can use alert. Please fill the form and just return after that. Okay, now with login, now what we need, we have to check this username and password is correct or not. So in register, what we can do, okay, we can check like get user with that username and password, username which is of type string, and password. So this function basically, here we will pass the username and password and it will return us a user if it is exists. If it is not exist, it will return a null, right? So to get data, we know this is what we have done. Okay, so we will take the user first. From the register users, if there is no user, it will return the null, right? And if user exists, we have done like this. So here what we have done, like we have passed the users, right? And inside find we have used like with the username. But with this we will need one more condition, like its password should be same, otherwise it will be a issue. Password. So found user, we can just return that found user. I hope you get this. So here we are not doing anything extra, we are just taking all the register user in the user string. If it is null, we are returning null, right? If we get the users, we are finding a particular user with the specific username and password. So if we found that user, we are returning it. If we don't found that user, it will just return a null, right? So let's use this let's export that get user, and inside login we can call that get user. Okay, now pass the username, data dot username, and data dot password. Okay, let's take a user. Okay, so if this user is not null, okay, if this user is null, it means we don't found the user, right? So let's use the alert again. Password, sorry, username or password is not correct, and let's return from it. If it is correct, what we have to do, we have to redirect to the home page. So how we can do, we have one hook, use navigate from the react router dom. As I write here, it is imported. We can take this inside one variable, name it navigate. Okay, navigate. So what we can do, we can navigate to the home page. How we can do, just right click this one. But if you come to the app.tsx, we don't have that route, so we can just create, remove this. So, and here instead of register, right here home. We don't have this component, no problem. In component we can create it, home.tsx. Let's write the code, home, and here inside that, for now I am just writing one message like this is homepage. Okay, but wrap this inside div, and we can remove that empty fragment, no problem. Okay, up to you, just clean it. But if you have observed, we have a black screen, right? So what we can do is, we can set the color to white and export this home component, export default home. And if you go to the app.tsx, let's click on the control dot, it will import that home page. Now let's check our application. In register, let's create one name, nick @gmail.com, and password is 12345. Let's register it. Okay, user created. Click on the login, and form is also cleared. Now let's jump to the login. So we have jumped to the login. Now let's type here nick @gmail.com, password 12345, and click on the register. That's great. We have redirected to the home page. Awesome. Now we have to show which user have been logged in, right? For that thing, what we can do, in login we have this place, handle form submit, from where we got to know that user is registered and we are redirecting. What we can do, in same way like we are keeping all the register user in the local storage, we can have one more key, active user, right? Active user. See, the purpose of this application is to like keep it simple and store the all the data in the local storage. That's why. Otherwise, we do this with the different things, like we use store or redux to pass this data and store this data. That is going to be a complex. So let's create one function, uh, update active user, or whatever the name you want, right? This is going to be arrow function, and here take user, which is of type iUser model. So what we can do is, okay, in local storage we can set atom, and here it will be keys active user. Again, we will need to stringify this user, otherwise it will not get stored. JSON.stringify this user, right? Okay, this will save to the local storage. As we have saved, we will need this, we will have to like fetch also, like, so instead of update we can write get active user. Okay. So what we can do is, local storage get atom, here is a key active user. If we don't have this key, we will take null by default, right? Take this in the variable, const active user, right? So if active user is null, right, let's return null, no problem. It means we don't have any active user. And if we have user, so we need to return it, but we need to parse it, okay, because local storage returns a string, right, and we need to parse it to return to the get user. So let's export both these two new methods. Let's write here update active user also. Okay, we are mostly done with this part. Now come to the login page. What we can do is we can uh, update active user before redirecting, right? And here we can pass user. Okay, that's great. Now one more thing, if you come to the home page, in home page we can take that uh, active user data, right? So how we can do is we will need one variable const active user, set active user, okay, use state, and this is going to be of type I user model. See, we know in local storage this method will return the active user, but to show that active user name or its information on the page, we will need a state, right? Or directly also we can do, it will not be a problem. But in direct, what happen if there is like any ajax call or whatever things, it will not be good. So how we can use is use effect. So first we will render this component with this message or whatever the empty message, then use effect will get called, right? And here we will define when to call, like only once when component gets render, right? What this use effect will do, it will fetch data for us, get active user. Okay, let's take this data, let's import this. Okay, this is imported. What is this saying? Okay, let's jump to the get active user text variable. No, we don't want variable. Okay, so we here we will get data. So if data is empty, right? If data is empty, so is null, it means we don't have any active user. Now we need to redirect, and we know how we can redirect. In login we have already done that. So let's use navigate, right? Let's import this use navigate from the react router DOM, and we can navigate to the login. Okay, let's navigate to the login, right? Because if there is no active user, it doesn't make sense to show the home page, because it home page can have like a lot of fields, and if we get data we need to set that in the set active user, right? So data, this is what the actual way to set the data. Now we can do we can show this data welcome, and here active user dot name. We can also have the logout button just after this. Let's add button, name it logout. On clicking this logout, on click, okay, handle logout. Okay, let's create this handle logout, const handle logout. Now so what this handle logout will do, it will clear this active user, right? Logout means there is no active user. So let's create one more, delete active user. Okay, so how we can do is, in local storage we have this remove atom, and we can just pass the this key. So we have to remove this key, and let's export this. Okay, now jump to the home, and in logout we have to do like delete active user. First we have to call this, and after that again we need to navigate to this login page. So this is what the correct approach is, right? Let's jump to the let's log in. Password is 12345. Click on the login. Okay, nick, I believe we have nick. Okay, see here we have a message, welcome nick, and on logout we are redirect to the login. And if you just inspect it and go to the application and local storage, here you will not see the other field, and that other field is active user, right? It only have registered user. Okay, I think there we misspelled it earlier, that's why it created new records. Again try like with nick, password 12345, and click on register. Now you will, here you will see one more key will be added, that is active user. Nick is the active member, right? Logout. One thing is pending, that is if we try to jump to the home page. Okay, how it is possible? Okay, yeah, I got it. So it is coming to the home page, and it is trying to fetch the data. It is not getting the data, that's why it is redirecting to the login page. But this is not what I wanted to tell you. This is the extra add-ons our application got. But in route we have to create one private route, right? So private route, purpose of it is, it will check user is login, if there is already logged in user, so it can jump to the home page, right? Active user, and function we have get active user. So if active user equals to null, it means user is not activated. So what we can do is, we can return, and here we can like, I think navigate in this way to login. Okay, otherwise if we get the active user, what we can do, we can just return the outlet. Let me tell you what outlet and other things is. Okay, I haven't finished it. So we don't need private route for login and register, we just need it for the home page, because this is what we have to check, it is user is registered or not. So how we do that, we create one more route. Okay, and in route we will have the path, that is home path, and element will be private route. Okay, private route. So private route will check whether active user is there or not. If it is not there, it will redirect to the navigate to the login page. If active user is there, it will call the outlet. Outlet means, outlet will be a child inside this route, right? So we call this private route, and for this outlet will be this route, and that will be a home. Okay, so that is all. I think it will work again. Okay, to like check it again, what I can do is, I can just comment this code and check. Okay, it is still working. We can keep this to have a safer side. I believe we are done with all of the things. I hope you like this application. And in next video, I am going to create whole authentication with React in React using JWT. It will have the API call. It will have all of the things which we actually do in the live projects. Hope you like this video and this project. Click on the subscribe button and like button. Share this video